Alright, how's it going everybody? Today we're going to talk about deadlift and proper technique and forms and won't get hurt. The technique I'm going to show you is so you can get the maximum athletic strength that you have available. As long as you're following the schedule, you should have a pretty good improvement. And I'm not expecting you guys to be able to max ACFT by the time we get to our drill in October or whenever your ACFT is. But I do think you guys will have a pretty good increase in strength by the time we get there. There's a couple important things you want to know when you're doing deadlift. So, at your home gyms, most of y'all will not have the availability of a Hex Bar, which is what we will be using for the ACFT. So for all intents and purposes, I'll be showing you the technique and form for the barbell, and then show you how to transition into the Hex Bar whenever we get to the ACFT. First and most important thing is your stance. Now I know you guys might have seen other videos of people doing sumo deadlift conventional, but when we're doing the Hex Bar deadlift, we will not be able to do sumo, so I'm only going to teach conventional. The two most important things will be the way you set up your feet and then how you set up your back, because your back and your legs give you all the drive and all the momentum for your strength when you're picking up the barbell. You want to have your feet shoulder width apart. You want to have your toes pointing straight forward, sort of perpendicular with the bar. Then you want to have it kind of set up in between the rough edges of the grip. And then when you're setting up your grip, you want to have your hands right outside of your feet. And when you get here, you want to sort of have the bar itself on the midpoint of the feet, not all the way up against the shins, not all the way up on the toes. You want to have it too far or too close. Sort of an inch from your shins. It's easier to tell if you just put it on the middle of your feet. And then you want to have your chest, you want to have the bottom of the sternum in line with the bar. So when you lift, you'll have everything set up like this. And then the last thing you need to worry about is tightening your core and setting up your hips. So when you go down, I would say go down with the back first, and then dip your hips as much as you need to kind of get the bar set comfortably. When you lift, when you start deadlifting, you don't want to shoot up the hips and then lift, because then it'll be an RDL and you won't be using back. You want to be able to strengthen your legs, because your legs will give you, I would say, 70% of the strength of the deadlift. So what you want to do is, if you find yourself in a problem where you're shooting up your hips, start where your hips start to shoot up and then lift up, because you want to be using your back and your legs simultaneously. So I'm going to give you guys a demonstration of a few reps. You guys can take it, pause it, zoom in, and see how I'm doing these, and transition it onto your own lifts that you're doing at your own personal gym. So set up, tighten your back, drop your shoulders, make sure you feel comfortable with your hips. Lift simultaneously using leg drive. And then if you're doing lightweight, you want to control the weight back down, control your hips comfortably, and then lifting it with leg drive your hips at the same time. You'll do this about 5 times with the lighter reps, kind of how I showed in the schedule. Just make sure you can do everything tight the way I'll show you guys. That is all you'll need to do as far as form and technique goes. Now, I'll go ahead and show you how to do this on the Hex Bar over here. It's pretty similar. Alright, so now we have the Hex Bar, which is what you'll actually be using for the ACFT. The form, the technique, everything is the same. The only difference is where you line up your feet and how you grip the bar. If you ask me personally, the Hex Bar deadlift is easier. So if you're able to lift something like 250, 280 on the barbell, you should be able to lift something like, I don't know, 300, 315 on this, because it's using a lot more quads and it's more like a kind of a more leg drive type of move than it is back and legs. But let's get into it. What you want to do is you want to make sure your legs, like your shins sort of are at the same area as the kind of sidebars. You don't want to have your feet too far forward or anything like that. I feel like most of you guys know this already. But you set it the same way you would have with the barbell. Just kind of get your grip. Whether or not you want to, I would wrap your thumbs around, but if you're comfortable with having your thumbs outside, that's perfectly good too. But just make sure you have your hands in the middle, everything's balanced, because you don't want the weight falling forward, you don't want to fall in. So when you lift, just kind of do the same thing. And up. Pretty simple. And you only got to do 3. So just kind of get to where your hips go up and down, and then you'll be laying down. That's it. It's a pretty simple concept. I feel like if you guys follow these instructions, you should have a pretty good time during the ACFT. Don't overkill it during the ACFT because you still got 5 other events, but I feel like you guys should be confident if you follow these steps.